Welcome everyone to the first in a series of 6 LDC Accelerates webinars in partnership with Make Us Care. And for those who don't know, I'm just going to do a little bio introduction. LDC Accelerates is a platform that connects designers and experts, providing tools and information to help independent brands and those in the fashion industry scale and grow successful businesses. And we've partnered with Make Us Care, and we have the lovely Amanda Baker here from Make Us Care with us leading the webinar today. And Make Us Care is a strategic creative partner that helps turn businesses into brands people care about. They work with founders and marketing teams at the likes of Solo, Crew Kids, Nimble, and Airhead to listen, learn, and communicate better. And they're here today today is the introduction to the 5 stories, the 5 key stories to your brand that Amanda will walk us through today. And then we have an individual webinar coming up over the next 5 weeks, diving into each specific story. We do hope that if you enjoy your time with us today, you continue to join us for the webinars over the next 5 weeks. And I know hopefully as well, if you continue to join, Amanda will get to know each of you guys better and your businesses, and we can go on a bit of a journey together. So that being said, I will let Amanda take it away.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dive in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just want to check that everyone can see my screen. All good, because now I've shared my screen. I can't see many of you now. So yeah, good, lovely. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Yeah, a lot of you. I'm really touched by the fact that there's quite a lot of you here today. So I'm Amanda, I'm the co-founder of Make Us Care, and I'm here today to take you on a little bit of a journey to walk you through the 5 stories communications framework that we use at Make Us Care to basically help our clients, help the brands that we work with communicate clearer and more consistently with their customers, their team, and even investors as well. So anyone that they want to care about their business, the 5 stories is really great for that. And yeah, I'm here today to share that with you and hopefully help you communicate your businesses better to the people that you want to care more. So yeah, just a little heads up. I love these workshops to be really interactive, if we can make it that way. So I'd love to invite you all to share where you feel like sharing, of course. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then of course, like, you know, I'd love to hear. I'm going to invite you guys to participate, to answer questions, to share what you're thinking, share how you're feeling and all that kind of stuff. The more you share and the more we interact, the more I think we all get out of it. I'm here to learn from you as much as you are from me. So I'd really, really love that if that's okay with you. So who's here? I think a lot of you have popped it in the chat already, but yeah, we'd love to know who you are and what you're building. I am obsessed with startups and businesses of all different shapes and sizes and in different spaces. And I'm just, yeah, really curious to know what you're working on, what you're building, what your vision is, and yeah, that would be really great. And would anyone like to? I'd love to hear. Would anyone like to share who they are and what they're building? If not, happily just
I'm not feeding him, Mario. I gave him
Alana?
lunch.
Sorry.
Ooh. What are you looking for?
Oh, I thought someone was talking to me then. Okay. We'll keep moving. So I'd love for you guys, I really thought that was for me then. How are you feeling about your brand and marketing right now? I'd love you all to answer this question. This just helps me because this is a 6-part webinar series. What we want to do is just understand where you're at with your brand and marketing right now. Like how is it feeling? What challenges are you having right now that are really niggling you a bit? Because what I really want to do is make sure that through the next sort of 5 workshops that we can really work on those together, and I can help you work through them. So if it's okay, please do share that in the chat as well. And if anyone would like to share openly in conversation, please do. I'll give anyone a couple of minutes or a minute or so.
Yeah, I can share.
Thank
I'm
you.
Johanna. I'm studying fashion and branding in Amsterdam, and I'm working for Osier, an Amsterdam-based startup, and we are making vegan bags from apple leather, but the apple leather still contains a lot of PU, so currently we try to supplement the petroleum in the bags with an organic option, and we also are developing a story around this product that could be built from apples maybe, so we try to market this in this way, but yeah.
That sounds really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I can't wait to hear and learn more about your business and what you're building. Would anyone else like to share before I move on?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Reis from Studio Reis, luxury accessories brand, sustainable luxuries accessories brand, sorry. And yeah, like I think I'm getting to a place where I'm okay with my brand and how to speak about it, but still absolutely confused marketing and how to put the story forward and how to get people to realize that I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing. So still in the basic phases of marketing.
Brilliant.
And
Thank
also,
you so much.
sorry, social media marketing is just another world that's really confusing at the moment as well. So,
isn't it? It is so confusing, and it's so busy. There's so much going on that you can really get sucked into that feeling, that pull. Oh, I have to just play something. I have to keep showing up and keep making noise. And sometimes, well, a lot of the time, when you kind of fall into that space where you just want to, where you just feel like you have to keep making noise for the sake of making noise just to be seen, it can really damage the brand. So don't worry, we have, thank you so much for sharing. We do have some insights and some inspiration for you today that can hopefully inspire you to do things and think about your social media communications a little bit differently. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you guys. A little bit of backstory. So of course we're here today to talk about storytelling, how to tell the stories of our brand to be seen and heard. So a little bit of backstory to the 5 stories and why I'm here as well. I've personally always been fascinated with building brands, and that fascination really started from doing it for my own business, for my own company, which was in the fashion tech space when about 8 years ago now, 9 years ago. So I had a company called Fashionably Skin, and it was an online swap shop for girls that didn't want to wear the same thing twice. We launched it to loads of universities all across the UK, where girls, women of all different shapes and sizes would upload the clothes that they were happy to swap and lend out to people nearby on campus. So that's what we did. Really cool, ran that for 4 years. And it did kind of go to shit, if I'm honest. It did all kind of fall apart and blow up in my face. That's another story, and we need to have some wine with that. Definitely, maybe some gin. But basically what that whole experience taught me, and what I took away from that, was this love for building a brand. And I think, you know, when you actually unpack brand, it's like the vibe, the feeling, the energy of a business, its personality. There's so much. It's not just a logo and some colors and some pretty, you know, graphics. There's so much more than that. It's a pulse. It's a heartbeat. And I just became really fascinated with, what does it really take to build a brand? And when I did start looking out there and looking for stuff to help me with my business, when I was building the brand for it, I couldn't really find a lot. I really struggled. I struggled to get the messaging right around my story and my business, because there wasn't a lot of guidance or a lot out there that would help me. And let's face it, when it comes to your own story, when your own brand, whether it's your personal brand story or your business brand story, it is quite hard to tell it, because we're in our bubbles. We are in our bubbles. So now I'm here at Makers Care, And I'm so grateful to be here and be building a business now, which is really, I think, solving a big problem in the sort of marketing, brand building, advertising world. It isn't just about, and I think there's a lot of agencies out there that do, they have all the frameworks, they have all the knowledge and what it really takes to build a brand and do all this incredible marketing and advertising. But we don't want to be that. We don't want to be that kind of agency. We want to, give our clients the cake. We want them to be able to do the work better themselves. So we're here to work with startups and scale-ups of all different shapes and sizes who are on a mission to change the world, do things differently, do things better for people, and their stories deserve to be heard just like yours do. So today, we're going to take you on a bit of a journey through the 5 stories, and this is how we work with our clients, and I really believe that it's going to completely change the way you look and you feel about your marketing and your branding. Fingers crossed. That's the goal. So a little bit of story about Makers Care. So there's so much noise out there, and we see about 5,000 marketing messages a day, which is absolutely nuts. And I'm pretty sure that stat has gone up a lot now with lockdown and everything, but that's a lot to compete with, right? Especially on social media, where everybody is right now, because that's the escapism. That's where we go to get away from all of the craziness that's going on in the world today. But there's so much noise out there, and people don't have much time or attention. They really don't. I don't know if you've seen The Social Dilemma, but it really does explain this sort of idea of, not just idea, it explains all of the data and what's happening with social media right now, and how it has really kind of become a bit of a toxic thing in people's lives. But people don't have much time or attention. And we're here because there are lots of good companies struggling to be seen and heard. And that really does piss us off. It really, really does. There's a lot of companies out there with big budgets that, can afford to put a lot of money behind their media spend to be seen and heard, but their content's crap. So, I think what we really care about at Makers Care is working with the businesses that really do stand for something, that really do deserve to be here, because they're building something that's going to make people's lives better in some way, whether it's a big way or a small way. They're making people's lives better. And these companies deserve to be seen and heard. But for many, they're really stuck in their bubbles, obsessing over the product. And that's why they're not being seen. And that's why they're not being heard, because they're struggling to communicate who they are and what they stand for. They're struggling to articulate that in different creative ways. And that's something that we really care about, and that's why we are a partner to these businesses that are in this space. And when it comes to the product, I think this is something that I really can empathize with, because I've been there, I've done it, I've obsessed over the product so much that I've completely forgot about the customer. Completely, I was making decisions about the app to change it, to make it better, to change the bloody colors, for God's sake, to be like, oh no, people need to upload and tag more brands in their wardrobe, and all of this silly stuff. And I had no data to back it up. I was just doing it because I thought that was what I thought my customers would want. So this is what I mean by getting obsessed over the product and just forgetting about the customer, forgetting about what they actually care about and what they actually want. And the reality is, and I learned this the hard way, people don't care about your business as much as you do. Not yet, anyway. And why should they? That's a big question as well. Why should they care? Why should they care? Big point right here. Making people care starts by caring more about people. And caring more about people starts with the 5 stories. So each of the 5 stories has a role to play in building your brand and connecting with people emotionally. Connecting with them emotionally makes them care. So we're going to walk you through that today and walk you through the different 5 stories with some examples that I hope will inspire you as well, because I'm a big believer in, do you know what? Enough talk, just show, like, what does this actually look like in real life out there in the real world? So I'm going to show you some of that stuff as well. But before we get into the 5 stories, if it's cool with you, I just want to get really super clear on a few things. The first thing is, what is the point of building a brand? Can anyone share with me what they think the point of building a brand is? If you don't want to actually talk, that's cool. Just please put it in the chat. But yeah, who would like to share what they think the point of building a brand is with me, or with the group, not just me? Give me a break so I can have some water.
This is a good answer. So to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
From Ismay in the chat.
Love that. I would say, if it's okay to talk out, I would say to really bring value to people's lives.
Yes,
yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Bianca. 100%. Would anyone else like to share before I move on?
So a few more in the chat. So Lucy says, so your audience can connect with you. Lisa says to stand out from the crowd. All great answers.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, so weird. When I'm presenting, I can't see the chat. So thank you so much for Catherine for sharing that. Really helpful. Cool. Right. So, oh, hello. So first, I've just done that one. Sorry, got lost there. Let's bring it back. So the point of building a brand, what we like to say at Make Us Care, is to be something people want in their lives. Literally, that's it. Be something people want in their lives. That's what the point of building a brand is. So what we really, really love is this quote here, which really for me was like that moment where I was like, oh my God, that is it. Like that is like it in a nutshell. Fitting in is when you want to be a part of something. Belonging is when others want you. And I think when it comes to building a brand, and again, I'm talking from my own personal experience and what I've seen from working with lots and lots of different founders and small marketing teams of startups and scale-up companies. And what I see a lot is like fitting in, like that's kind of what we're doing at the beginning. We're trying to fit in, we're trying to find ourselves, we're trying to figure out like, okay, yeah, we know what we're building, we know what the product is, but we haven't really nailed down the energy and the vibe of it, the heartbeat of the business yet, and we're still figuring that out. So when we're out there communicating, we end up just hustling a little bit, like we just need to, we just need to be seen, we just need to like communicate what the product is and what we're doing. But what that's doing is it's not really connecting with people on an emotional level. So, and this is what I mean by, this sort of brand belonging idea. It's like, this is when other people want you. And all we ever want, whether you're a human being or whether you're a business, we just want to be seen and heard. And we deserve to be as well, because we have great stories. So one thing that a couple of things just to sort of build on that a little bit more. So you've got the brand, you've got the people here. So imagine these are different pages. So you've got the brands here and people here, your customers. So what it really looks like is it looks like, okay, let's get on the same page and like, we care about that. That whole, I care about that too. I believe that too. I can resonate with that too. That's what I mean. It's finding those sort of three connection, emotional points of, wow, this is how we're connected with our customer. This is what brings us together on the same page. That's what I mean by be something that people want in their lives, this belonging idea. So I just wanted to share that with you. All right. Second thing, why do stories work? There's lots of stuff out there. If you sort of Google, the science of storytelling, all this kind of stuff, the left side and the right side of the brain, there's lots of books out there that explain it way better than me. But really thinking about it in this sort of big level, I don't even know if that makes sense, in a big way. Why do stories work? Containment. That's why stories work. Containment. So think about it. Oh. Sorry, I think someone's unmuted. Okay, oh good. So think about it. What a really good story does for us. What it does is it draws us in, it holds us there, and then it lets us go at the end. That's what I mean by containment. It contains us, it holds us, it draws us in, it makes us feel felt. So that's why stories work. Deep breath. Let's get into it. The 5 stories. So just to recap, what is the 5 stories? The 5 stories is a communications framework to help you communicate the best stories for your brand. Because there's lots of different stories here. These are the ones that you really need to communicate to give people a reason to care about who you are, what you're building, why you're here, where you're going, where it all began. That's what we're going to talk about right now. So, story number 1, empathy story. This is the story you always start with at Make Us Care. We always start with this one because it is always about the customer. And I said a little bit earlier, what we always see is that when we first meet businesses for the first time, they are always stuck in these bubbles of the product bubble. We call it the product bubble. And our job is to pop that bubble and be like, oh, wait, okay, let's really think about your business, but in the customer, let's put the empathy story lens on. Let's think about your customer, who they are, how they're feeling, where they're at. So this is all about the glue between you and your customer. Empathy, the empathy story can only come to life with real customer insights. Its role is to make your brand human and relatable. Why do you need to tell this story? The empathy shows that you're present, listening, and really holding space for people. It's the story that shows you understand how your customers might be feeling and why they're feeling that way. This story validates your reason to exist in your customers' lives. So how does this kind of look? So again, love my little Venn diagrams. Really easy to get things across, but you got your business and your customers, it's sort of answering these questions here, like, it's how are we connected and why should I care? So your customer's saying, why should I care? How are we connected and why should I care? This is what your customers want to know. They want to know how they're connected to you. They want to know why they should care. The empathy story answers these questions. So I'd love you all to reflect for a minute and please jot down your answers in the chat. So 92% of consumers want brands to make ads that feel like a story. Reflect for a minute on the last brand that resonated with you in some way. Does anyone remember a brand or an advert or even a video as they've been scrolling through Facebook or Instagram? Has anything like really resonated, made you feel like, oh yeah, that really pulled on my heartstrings a bit? Would anyone like to share? Or Catherine, if anyone pops in the chat, would you mind sharing some of them? I'll give you a minute because I just want to make sure we're good with time.
I'll just say every John Lewis Christmas advert ever made.
We've heard that a lot. Yeah. They have big budgets to do great adverts like that. But yeah, I completely agree. They do really nail it, don't they?
We've got a few. We've got Iceland's ad about the orangutan, and we have Nike campaign about pregnant women in sports. Headspace short ad vids.
Yeah, they're good. The Headspace ones are quite good, actually. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this. Anyone's sort of still thinking about it, because I know it is one of those questions where you really have to like think, have I? What was the name of it? So thank you very much for those of you that shared. Okay, so this is one that we really think, well, I guess this is a personal one for me, and I'll tell you the story in a bit, but this is an ad that really does is a powerful example of an empathy story in action. So I'm going to play that for you now. Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I think it's frozen. So just hold on 1 second. We'll see if we can get Amanda back. Oop. Okay, give us just 1 second, everyone. It seems like it froze for Amanda. The video didn't like the video. You know, sometimes our internet just rejects things, doesn't it? So we should be able to get her back in here in a moment. Sorry about that.
I'm so sorry. My internet just completely cut out. I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries. I figured it was something like that. Tech these days,
So
right? Never
sorry.
been so reliant on it.
Yeah, that's never happened before. And we've just updated our internet. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to play that for you again. I hope it's okay. I am connecting to my phone now. Let me just make sure that this is. I'll go back to this bit. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, we can't hear the volume, unfortunately.
So yeah, so that's that is an example, a personal one for me really, of an empathy story in action. I'm sorry, I did just see your messages that you couldn't really hear it very well. I think I need to press a button in a minute just so you can hear the video a bit better. But yeah, I guess there wasn't much talking. It was more the power of the music and obviously the emotion that you hear from what's happening, the relationships between people who are who have cancer and their families and all of that. So yeah, this really connected with me because the girl at the end, my granddad died of cancer, and it was very emotional to watch, and that was me in that moment. I could really feel myself in that moment, the hands, the awkwardness of her hands, the just everything about her in that frame at the end, her shoulders, the way she is, like I could just see myself in that story. I could see myself in that moment. And that's what I mean by empathy story. That's what I mean by a powerful empathy story. Its role is to make people feel felt, make people feel heard, make people feel seen. That is the power of an empathy story. So there's an example for you there, and we do have more, especially coming up in our workshop next week, which is all about empathy. Cool. So the empathy story can only exist with real human insight. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you have to speak to your customers. There's literally no way that, of course, you're gonna know about them and have some insight about who they are, but you can only really build your empathy story from real human insight, but actually having a conversation with them. And if there's a few things that you could ask your customers, even if you just wanted to do something tomorrow, pick 5 that you can pick up the phone to and have a chat with, and ask them 3 questions. Sorry, I think someone's muted. I can hear someone talking. I'm not sure who is. Thank you. So 3 questions that you can ask them, and you can pick up the phone to them tomorrow. How are you feeling? Why are you feeling that way? What can I do to help you? How are you feeling? Why are you feeling that way? What can I do to help you in the situation? And of course, those 3 questions are going to go into different directions, and you can really have a great conversation. And it just shows that you care, you know? That's why we're here, to build brands that care, really care. So the empathy story can also only exist when you're present. And again, even just having that conversation with 5 of your customers, you're present, you're there, you're giving them that time, you want to know, you're curious, you want to hear them. And yeah, which leads me to my next point. The empathy story can only exist when you listen, when you really, really listen and create the space to listen. So the next story is the purpose story. So your purpose is all about the real work that you do. It's your conscious contribution to the world, aka your why. Its role is to give your company meaning beyond product and profit. Why do you need to tell this story? Purpose is what gives people a reason to buy into the work that you do. It is the story that gives people a reason to rally around you and not your competitors too. So a lot of people, like we speak to, we sort of hear that, you know, when you have purpose and profit, you can't have both of them. If you're going to focus on just building a company and really focusing on that bottom line, then purpose can impact that or have an effect on that. But no, actually, brands recognized for having a high commitment to purpose have grown more than twice the rate of other brands. So purpose can really support the growth of your profit, your revenue, and having it and really living and breathing it, and making sure that everything that you're doing is really connected to the purpose story, to your purpose. Really, people want to see that. People want that. Your customers want that. They want to know that they are connected to a company. They are buying from a company that really does care, that really is purpose driven. So when it comes to purpose, what does it actually look like, I guess? Because and I guess, you know, some people, some businesses have the purpose story is really obvious and really clear. For some businesses, it's not so much. But you know, every sort of purpose story is all about how are we making people's lives better? And it doesn't need to be this big, massive thing. Like, it doesn't have to be changing the world, but just making people's life, making your customers' lives better, a bit better. Every you know, if your business doesn't exist to do that, then why are you here? So brand purpose, it kind of looks a bit like this. If you just kind of wanted to flesh that out a little bit more. What does the world need? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? That's brand purpose. So what does the world need? What are you good at, aka what are you building? What are you really good at? Because you're obviously building something that, you know, you're really good at doing that. Or you're creating something. And what are you really passionate about? That's how you can get to your brand purpose. And here's a purpose story we made earlier. I'm a big believer in sort of sharing, you know, what does it actually sound like? And we do have an example of what it, you know, feels like and looks like as well. So this is kind of what it sounds like. And just before I get into this is for one of our clients called Nimble, and what they're doing is they have created lots of different cleaning products for parents to clean up after their children have been a little bit messy. So cleaning worktops, cleaning laundry, and also cleaning baby bottles as well, getting rid of the milk residue. So they're called Nimble. Really, really lovely brand. So this is the purpose story we created for them. Real parenting isn't about being perfect. It's about conquering everyday stresses and constant messes. It's unfiltered, it's real, and it's happening now in all of its imperfect glory. Yes, real parenting is messy. Nimble exists to help you master those messy moments. We create a safer and cleaner environment for your child and a less stressful environment for you. Raising a child takes a village. At Nimble, we're a part of yours. The purpose story can only exist with action. Now, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and share it again because you said that you found it really hard to hear me. And I know why, because learnings from last time this happened, I didn't press the little button that says share sound. I'm sorry, that was completely my fault there. I was just panicking to try and get the video playing again. So here we go. Thumbs up if you can hear it better, please. That'd be great.
It's broken here in the middle.
I was always told that the symbol of a ring was for an everlasting love because a ring has no end.
Well, the ring itself is very symbolic to me because it shows that there's something missing.
And I guess the piece that's missing is the acceptance.
And I think that disconnect there is kind of how we might view ourselves as well from the community.
I think it's wonderful that there's work being done to close that gap, but there is still that gap.
I feel like it needs to be closed. The gap actually does need to be closed.
I'll wear this ring until my sister can belong.
Until my son can belong.
Until my uncle can belong.
Until my cousin.
My mother.
My mate.
My brother.
Until I can belong.
Until we.
Until we.
Until we all belong.
Wear this ring and show your acceptance of marriage equality.
So Airbnb's purpose is to create a world where we can all belong anywhere. So what I mean by a purpose story in action, by supporting marriage equality in Australia and creating this sort of symbol ring to really visualize that that's what they stand for and creating a campaign around that. That's what I mean by purpose story in action. They're intentional about the communications that they have that really show that they are living and breathing this belong anywhere story that they tell for their purpose. So I think this is a lovely example. The purpose story can only exist when you're conscious. Origin story. So this is a story that we absolutely love, and so many incredible startups, businesses that we see and we connect with, they have the best origin stories, but they don't tell them, they don't talk about them, they don't communicate them, they don't have them anywhere on their website. Even if it's just a video of the founder just sharing, this is why I started the business, something so simple, not that. So this is all about who you are, where you came from, and why it matters. So reflect back on why you started. That's your origin story. It's connected to your purpose and empathy story, and it gives you an opportunity to talk about your progress so far in a relatable and interesting way. Its role is to give people a sense of who you are and where you came from. Why do you need to tell this story? Well, now more than ever, customers need to see and connect with your journey. It's the story that highlights the impact you've made so far. Looking back at how far you've come can also make your team feel closer when things are intense. So think about it in this way. In the beginning, what was that feeling that you had when you first thought, oh my God, I want to start this business? I want to do something. I want to change something. I want to do this better. I believe that I can. What was that feeling that you had? Start there. Start with the feeling. Would anyone like to share in the chat the feeling that they had when they first started their business, the feeling that made them want to do something? I'd love you all to reflect on that for a bit, but I am going to keep moving because I am very conscious of the time. And thank you so much for being here and for your time and attention. We are more than halfway through, of course we are, because we've only got 15 minutes left. So I just want to make sure that I deliver this content, all this content to you. So let's, in terms of what does an origin story look like? So it looks a bit like this. So one of our clients is called the Ocean Bottle. And what they're doing is for every bottle collects 1 kilogram of ocean plastic from the ocean. And what they've done here is they've created a big impact report. So their whole sort of tagline is small bottle, big impact. And they've created an impact report to show the impact that they've made so far. So this is just an example of how they bring their origin story to life in actual materials that they can share with their investors, they can share with their customers, because they're all buying into who they are and what they stand for and why they're here. Because it's not just a bottle, but this bottle is cleaning our oceans and preserving our oceans, and also paying the people that are collecting the plastic double what they were getting before because of Ocean Bottle. So lots and lots of meaning in this. And they have some great videos on their site as well, just in terms of how they really amplify this story. So really good for inspiration there, the Ocean Bottle. Product story, right, we've got 2 stories left to go, so we're nearly there. Thank you so much. So product story, this is the thing that only you can do, literally the thing that only you can do. This is all about what you explicitly do. It's how people will define you against your competitors. And its role is to give people a clear distinction of your product and how it benefits them. Why do you need to tell this story? People need to easily understand how you can help them. Without it, your customers will find it really hard to see how you fit into their life. It's the story that connects the problems your customers have with the solution you offer. So how do you get to the product story? You need to nail the 3 C's. So don't be a lazy bum, do the hard work for your customer. So the facts that they need to know, be really concise with these, be really clear about the things that they care about, and consider the emotions that they have and how they're feeling right now, the empathy story. Bring that into the product story. You don't just need to talk about the product, really frame that product story around them. Here's an example. I'm not going to play the full video. I think it's about a good 2 minutes or so long. But I'm going to play a bit of it just to give you a feel for a product story. So this is a product video, by the way. Oh. There we go. Yeah.
Like it or not, there's going to come a day when you think,
I should record this presentation.
We should do a podcast.
A pod what?
I should start a YouTube channel.
I should record my screen.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
We're pushing.
I've never actually.
Oh my God.
We record a lot of stuff.
Yep, you do. But before you share it,
sent.
I don't like this.
You're going to want to edit it first.
Uh-oh.
But editing is
hard, I know. Where do you even start, right? Well, I'll show you where to start. Meet Descript. It's a powerful new tool that makes editing easy. So easy that you'll want to edit videos.
nice. How does it
work? Well, first you need some video or audio. If you've already got some, just drag it right into Descript. Wait for it.
Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. Hopefully my little guys don't fall.
Whoa.
What?
Nah.
Yeah, it takes your audio and turns it into text. So when this happens...
All right guys, I'm going in.
I'm going to pause it there because it's quite long. But let's get into what we can learn from Descript. So firstly, what do? They start with their customers' feelings before they introduce their product and how it can help. It's not what you expect from a software company, and it instantly brings your feelings into the story as well. Then they bring different customer stories to life and show real life situations that their product can add value and solve problems. Their stories aren't focused on one use case. They're real stories across generations, backgrounds, and experience levels as well. And lastly, they have a personality. They're quite funny. It's quite a cheeky, quirky voice. They sound human, likable, and relatable. They talk like their customers do. And they're not afraid to play on the classic American humor. Vision story. This is the last story. Thank you so much for your attention and your time. So your vision story is all about the world you're building. Sharing your promise for tomorrow is so powerful. It gives people a glimpse of the bigger picture and makes them feel part of the journey with you. Its role is to keep everyone showing up and heading in the same direction. Why do you need to tell this story? Well, this story is all about telling people the future you're fighting for. It's the story that keeps everyone aligned internally and on the same page. Your customers need to hear this story to be inspired to join your mission and stay in for the long term. So the big question, so how do we get to this vision story? It's a big question to try and get to it if you're not already clear about it. How are people's lives going to be better now your company is here? How are people's lives going to be better now your company is here? I'd love you all to reflect on that and answer that. And if you are coming to the vision story session in a few weeks' time, we will dig into this more, and I can't wait to help you shape your vision stories. Right. So the vision story can only exist with aspiration. The vision story can only exist with hope. And the vision story can only exist with a dream. The vision story can only exist when you keep it real in people's minds. Here's a vision story we made earlier. So this is for one of our clients called Help Me Angela, and they are building a personal safety community. What does it really mean to feel safe? It's the difference between awareness and anxiety. It's using the power of social connection for personal protection, and the confidence that no matter who you are, someone cares and will take action. Sometimes knowing that someone cares inspires you to be courageous. That's what we stand for. Courage created by community, empowerment through education, the freedom that comes from feeling safe. We're creating a world where every person feels safer, no matter who they are or where they're heading. A world where more people feel less afraid and more alive. Fear will always come along for the ride, but with Help Me Angela, it's no longer in the driving seat. You are. Because feeling safe isn't a privilege, it's your right. So here is the 5 stories canvas, all of the 5 stories that I've just walked you through. And I'd love to help you all put your 5 stories in practice. So if you would like our workbook, so we have a workbook with more information, like the information I shared with you today, some of the content around each of the 5 stories. So if you'd like to pop your, actually, I think we're going to send follow-ups anyway, so ignore that. We are going to share this with you. Sorry, you know when your brain has to catch up a little bit. We're going to share this with you in the email follow up after this, and we will share the 5 stories worksheet for you and your team, just so you have that to reference when you're creating all your marketing materials and your communications. We'd love to stay connected to you on Instagram. You can find us at makers.care, and LinkedIn, we're Makers Care. Keep in touch. I'm Amanda Baker. It's been great to meet you. My email is amanda@makers.care. And next up, because this isn't it, I hope to see all your wonderful faces again. I really, really do. Next up, we are going to be diving deeper into empathy, into the empathy story, how to create your brand's empathy story. So in 1 hour, next week, next Wednesday, same time, 4 o'clock, you will learn how to identify your empathy story, the art of making your message more human, how to understand the real reason you started, and what brand empathy means in actual everyday practice. If you are going to come to that, I really hope you will. But if you can't, we will be recording it. But if you can, we have a little bit of homework. And it's really important that you do this, because this is going to come into the next session, and we're actually going to do some doing, actually writing your empathy story. So I'd love for you to write a short description that summarizes who your customers are and bring it next week. For example, here's one we made earlier for one of our clients, Airhead, and they are an air pollution mask for people that love getting active and being outside for their physical and mental health. That's what I mean. Just literally 3 lines. And there's an example there, and we can share this in the follow-up email as well for you, so you have that. Brownie points. If you find a picture, bring a picture of a person that represents your customer. It's always good when you're creating an empathy story. I know it sounds a bit weird, but just having a picture or someone there that you're trying to create a persona around and really trying to get into their hearts and minds, it can really help. It helps me anyway, so I just wanted to share that. And before I go, remember, everyone's a storyteller. We hear this a lot. I can't tell stories. I don't have any good stories to tell. Everyone's a storyteller. Everyone. We all have incredible stories to share and tell. And we're here to help you tell them. We made it. Thank you so much for listening. And woo, in time as well. I'm quite proud about that after that little hiccup with the tech. So thank you for being here. Any questions? Yeah.